But first, before that, shalom. My friends, welcome to a very special night. The Prime Minister of Israel, B.Netanyahou, addressed Congress today in observance of the sacred Jewish holiday of Sukkot, Mr. President. When House Speaker John Boehner invited Netanyahu to speak to Congress without consulting the White House. Why didn't the Speaker run it by the White House?
I did not consult with the White House. The Congress can make this decision on its own.
Is this just a way to sort of poke the president in the eye?
I don't believe I'm poking anyone in the eye.
I'm merely taking a sharp stick. I am Groot.
All right. Of course, Benjamin Netanyahu was on hand to explain to our Congress why our president should not be negotiating a nuclear deal with Iran. And even though Netanyahu was speaking only 2 weeks before the Israeli elections, he wasn't there just to use our Congress as the most elaborate campaign commercial backdrop ever.
I feel I am representing all the citizens of Israel, even those who do not agree with me, a representative of the entire Jewish people. I feel a deep and sincere concern for the safety of all citizens of Israel and the fate of the state and the fate of our people.
I speak for all Jews, including the ones who don't want me to, because those Jews are wrong. They'll thank me. The truth is, no one can speak for all Jews, for we are a varied and heterodoxical people, a rich tapestry of Judaic and Talmudic. We like to argue. We have a lot of opinions on things. Something CNN thought they'd want to get in on by mixing meat and strife. The spokesperson for the left-leaning J Street and Tele-Rabbi Shmuley Botiak.
This is one of the most excuse me, Jeremy. Jeremy, you need to learn to be a gentleman on television.
Rabbi.
No, I'll tell you. Shut. That actually happened on CNN. I guess they couldn't pull off the Batman spinning yarmulke. I guess from now on, this is how CNN's going to be shown in airports. How will the Obama administration handle this unprecedented
I poke.
I think it's important to realize the depth of the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Under my administration, billions of dollars have gone to support Israel's security. The military and intelligence cooperation is unprecedented. That bond is unbreakable.
That's how powerful Israel is. Their prime minister comes here, publicly slaps Obama in the face, and the president's response is, why not? It's okay. In fact, everyone should know I'm buying him gloves, so when he hits me, it doesn't hurt his hand as much.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of Israel.
Not that there won't be any repercussions.
The White House is offering an icy welcome to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The president will not be sitting down or meeting with Netanyahu this week.
Joe Biden in Guatemala today is snubbing Netanyahu's speech.
Right. Of course, the president did gently point out the uproar that would have occurred had a Democratic Congress invited a foreign leader who was criticizing a Republican president.
When George W. Bush had initiated the war in Iraq, if they had invited, let's say, the president of France to appear before Congress to criticize or to air those disagreements, I think most people would say, well, that wouldn't be the right thing to do.
Right, they might have said that, or they would have gone bananas. Republicans would have demanded the inviters be arrested for sedition and treason. I mean, for God's sakes, just for France not joining our coalition, Republicans officially had the word French removed from Capitol building fries and renamed ketchup. I have to admit, after all that buildup, I was pretty excited for the speech itself.
It was a miracle. A standing ovation that was to last for just 1 minute miraculously lasted 8.
Oh my God, it was the State of the Union address the Republicans wanted, delivered by the leader they wished they had. And Netanyahu wasted no time explaining why there was no time to waste.
That's why this deal is so bad. It doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb. It paves Iran's path to the bomb. Iran's breakout time would be very short. About a year by U.S. assessment, even shorter by Israel's.
Well, of course, the Jewish assessment is going to be a little shorter. We like to cut a little off at the tip. That's what we like to do. The whole 1 year. Bibi, if Iran's that close, why didn't you bring your urgent warning about Iran going nuclear sooner? Oh, wait, you did. Apparently time was also running out 19 years ago.
The most dangerous of these regimes is Iran. If this regime or its despotic neighbor Iraq were to acquire nuclear weapons, this could presage catastrophic consequences. Only the United States can lead this vital international effort to stop the nuclearization of terrorist states. Time is running out. We have to act.
Why is he not aging? It really seems the bigger story here is not will Iran get a nuclear weapon, and more the world needs Netanyahu's anti-aging secret, because it can't just be chickpeas, oil, and lemon. It just can't be. It can't be that easy. But this brings up the difficult issue. What many in our government love about Netanyahu is his conviction and his certainty.
In the Middle East, Iran now dominates 4 Arab capitals: Baghdad, Damascus, Beirut, and Sana'a.
We have to act. Look how Iran has expanded its power since the fall of Saddam Hussein and the destabilization of the region. I mean, what kind of an idiot wouldn't have seen that coming in 2002? Oh, shalom.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. The reverberations of what happens with the collapse of Saddam's regime could very well create an implosion in a neighbor regime like Iran.
Or the opposite. But in the House chamber, there was no such reflecting. Netanyahu wrapped his speech up, and it was time for another 10 minutes of applause. Whether or not Netanyahu achieved his goals of sabotaging a deal with Iran or mistakenly opened up a rift in U.S.-Israeli relations, one thing is certain. The in-chamber response to this speech was by far the longest blowjob a Jewish man has ever received. We'll be right back.
Standing up to Iran is not easy. Standing up to dark and murderous regimes never is. With us today is Holocaust survivor and Nobel Prize winner, E.Wiesel. Ellie, your life and work inspire us to give meaning to the words, never again.
Elie Wiesel, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Ça va?
Oui, pour l'instant.
Alors Elie Wiesel, témoin et survivant de l'Holocauste, défenseur infatigable des droits de l'homme, et votre humanisme vous a valu en 1986 le prix Nobel de la paix.
In a recent California court case, E.Wiesel, a self-styled eyewitness of the so-called Holocaust, stated under oath that while at Auschwitz, he was tattooed on his left arm with the number A7713. Wiesel added that his father's tattoo number was A7712. But, according to a former prisoner at Auschwitz, Hungarian Jew Miklos Gruner, who was at the camp the same time claimed by Elie Wiesel, the number A7713 was assigned to a very different person, Gruner's friend, a Lazar Wiesel, not Elie Wiesel.
Notamment, il sortit un livre aux États-Unis, très précise, qui tenterait à démontrer par les faits et des témoignages qu'Elie Wiesel est un faussaire intégral, qu'il n'est pas le Wiesel qui a passé des années dans les camps, qu'il n'a pas l'âge pour être ce Wiesel-là, qu'il ne parle pas hongrois et qu'il n'a même pas de tatouage sur le bras.
Let's take a close look at Elie Wiesel's left arm, and while we're at it, at his right arm as well. Evidently, no sign of an imprinted tattoo can be seen. Second, Gruner, who in his book, Identity Theft, sets out to prove that Elie Wiesel is a fraud, received a letter from the Auschwitz Museum in October of 2003 affirming that the number A7713 claimed by Elie Wiesel as his was indeed, in fact, assigned to Gruner's friend Lazar Wiesel, recorded as being born on September 4th, 1913, not September 30th, 1928, the birth date of Elie Wiesel.
Et c'est assez grave parce que Elie Wiesel a eu le prix Nobel de la paix et est censé incarner la mémoire de la Shoah. Or, d'après les compagnons de déportation juifs des frères Wiesel, qui ont rencontré Wiesel, je crois, on mettra les liens au Danemark, ils disent bien, et ce sont des juifs déportés, que ce Wiesel-là, ils ne l'ont jamais vu nulle part, qu'il ne parle pas un mot de hongrois, donc il semblerait. On sait déjà que La Nuit, le livre de Wiesel, est un tissu de mensonges et d'approximations, qui a été sans doute repris d'un autre livre, avec la complicité des éditions de Minuit, mais c'est assez gravissime de pouvoir penser qu'un type qui représente la mémoire de la Shoah, qui est prix Nobel de la paix, et qui donne des leçons de morale à la terre entière, serait tout simplement un usurpateur intégral, et un mythomane intégral, couvert d'ailleurs sans doute par les plus hautes instances, qui sans doute le savent. Voilà. Donc je vais inviter les gens à se renseigner sur ce sujet. Je remarque d'ailleurs que Wiesel n'a jamais contesté ces contestations-là. C'est un peu le silence qui se fait sur ces sujets très dangereux.
In January 1945, the Auschwitz prisoners, which included Miklos Gruner and his friend Lazar Wiesel, were transferred to Buchenwald. Liberated by the Americans that spring, a photo was taken by a U.S. soldier that was later entitled "Crowded Bunks in the Prison Camp at Buchenwald." Elie Wiesel has referred to this photo as proof of his internment and has pointed to a man on the second row as being himself. Again, Gruner says no, noting that the man Wiesel claims to be himself was a man in his 30s and not a boy of 16, the age Elie Wiesel would have been at the time. Upon meeting Elie Wiesel, Gruner said afterward, "I was stunned to see a man I didn't recognize at all. He was certainly not my friend and fellow prisoner." Gruner also recalled that he was surprised that Wiesel could not speak Hungarian, but spoke English with a strong French accent, even though Elie Wiesel claims that he grew up in Szeged, Hungary.
Et je le dis, en dernière instance, je ne fais que relayer les affirmations péremptoires qui ont donné même lieu à un livre et à des conférences de juifs déportés qui ont fréquenté les deux frères Wiesel dans les camps et qui disent que Elie Wiesel n'est pas un des frères Wiesel et qu'il ment intégralement sur son passé, sur sa nationalité, sur sa date de naissance et sur ses persécutions. Voilà.